Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host Albert. And this is Five Round
Gotta
MMA.
watch
You
that
guys remember us.
FiveRoundMMA,
We're a weekly
y'all.
podcast on the world of mixed martial arts and professional wrestling. Now we're kind of
bi-weekly,
quarterly podcast. But we're not thinking about, we're always expanding, always thinking of ways to expand 5-round MMA and just give you guys more of us here. So we're not just kind of laying low in the background here. We're thinking about doing expansion, maybe more episodes, more of a multimedia type of thing here. And just that we're always thinking.
we do a little bit of everything.
A little bit of
A little bit of sports, beer, lifestyle,
Right.
And hopefully we can bring more and more to this podcast.
Yeah, but
pretty soon it's not even called 5-round MMA.
it's going to expand to something more. So more, a lot, 10 rounds or something like that, right?
But since the trolls love to hear us talk about MMA, we're going to make this one MMA heavy still.
Exactly. So Albert, since last we talked, it's almost fantasy football season. How many drafts have you done?
Oh, dude. No lie. I think I was supposed to check into fantasy addict helper.
Yeah. How many leagues are you in?
I'm in 4.
Okay. How many drafts have you done so far?
I've done 3.
3. Okay.
So I got 1 left.
How are you feeling on any of them? I guess.
I'm not. You know what's funny? I think everybody goes to the same thing. They do the mock drafts and then they do their printouts, select their sleepers, and you're feeling really good leading up to a draft. And then for some reason, the day after draft, I'm like, man, I don't think I drafted pretty good. and I'm on my 4th one, and I still don't think I hit a home run on any of these teams. So it might be a long season for me.
Yeah. I'm only in 2, and one of them is for fun. It was for money. So, and I'm not a football fan either. It was kind of a weird thing.
They're all for money.
I know Tom Brady
and pride.
I know Peyton Manning.
And if you got Tom Brady or Peyton Manning in the beginning rounds, you just quit.
All right, well,
just quit.
This week's show, we got a lot to talk about. It's going to be matchup heavy because a lot of big time matchups have happened since we were last on the air. And some UFC Fight Night events. Demetrius Johnson did get dethroned, but that's happened a little while ago. I mean, what hasn't been said has been said already. I mean, Albert called Henry Cejudo a long time ago when he debuted his new fighting style, so we should point that out. But other than that, I mean, Justin Gaethje knocked out. I think Justin Gaethje proved that he's probably in the top 10. He could probably murder anybody from 11 to 15, right?
Easily, I think.
But when he's to top 5, it's kind of like.
Don't you think it's still funny that it takes he still has to get a good beating before he clicks in?
Yeah.
If people watch, just seconds before he knocked out Vic, he took a beating.
Yeah. So let's just start round 1. You the time ready?
I got it ready. Let's go.
Going. So UFC 229 is getting pretty heavy there. Main event, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But what I'm talking about was a co-main event, or at least it's slated as a co-main event that was announced last week. Tony Ferguson versus Anthony Pettis. Obviously, it's a lightweight bout. It kind of makes sense, right? Because
I have pleaded over time that when they do these huge pay-per-views,
they're very top heavy.
They need a not only top heavy, they need to also put the same division up there, because how many times have we had someone not make weight and the whole card goes up in flames?
So Pettis versus Ferguson makes sense in a business standpoint for the UFC in case, which about 95% chance Khabib is not going to make the fight.
Yeah.
So more likely Tony Ferguson could probably step in there, being the former champion, and fight. So it should really have.
Or even let me just give you this crazy thing. Even if Khabib can't make it, Tony can't make it, you at least have Anthony Pettis.
That's a good record of showing up, right?
And guess what? At that point, I just want to see Conor McGregor.
Yeah, right. So it makes sense for the UFC standpoint, but does this fight make sense for Tony Ferguson? Do you think he should have waited for the winner, Khabib versus Conor McGregor? Obviously, he was supposed to fight Khabib, twisted his knee up on the UFC on Fox Studios. He's been out for a long time. This is a good matchup, a sexy matchup, but does it make sense for him record-wise?
First of all, on paper, it makes absolutely no sense. He should have done what everybody and their mom is doing right now in UFC and wait. But you know what, though? I think Tony Ferguson is probably the smartest guy in MMA because it's all about stock value in this game. That's what people don't understand. Your stock goes way down if you're not active. Your stock goes way down if you start turning down fights. Just look at Tyron Woodley. I think if he was in the stock market, I would have sold him a long time ago because I ain't buying that. And Mighty I think, Mouse. In Mighty Mouse, I honestly think Tony Ferguson did the smart thing. He's not only is he staying relevant and active, he managed to put himself in probably the biggest card of the year and potentially
the 95% shot of getting the main event.
Yeah, potentially be in the main event.
Yeah.
So I think this is a smart move by Tony Ferguson. Either way, he has to stay active to not get lost in this big shuffle in the UFC.
And for Anthony Pettis, he really has nothing to lose, right?
Absolutely nothing to lose.
Biggest card of the year.
People already wrote him off. So at that point, so what?
Worst case scenario, I'm jumping in. I'm the alternate behind the alternate. I'm a third alternate, second alternate in the main event. So who knows? We could see, or at all possibility, it could be Anthony Pettis versus Tony Ferguson in the main event for the interim light heavyweight title. That could be a possibility here.
Yeah.
With the track records of all four of these men, right?
Exactly.
So Khabib versus Conor. Do you like? I mean, business. It makes sense, I guess. I mean,
to be honest, there's no other matchup he could have done.
Yeah.
Against Conor, I'm saying. That makes sense. The story wrote itself. It played out in the most dramatic fashion you can think of, and I just think it's the perfect timing. Where Conor got to go do his boxing thing, so he's not distracted, and he had time already for the dust to settle. And then you have Khabib, who we have seen make a fight and fight. So why not? So I like it. I think it's a good matchup. I don't understand how you can make any other matchup with Conor McGregor. All those, even those hardcore Diaz fans, you gotta quit, bro. Yeah. This is the matchup that should have been made.
And like, what they do is how quickly it was announced in August and they're fighting in October. Is that because McGregor is not doing no more world tours like he did with the Aldo? Remember they did like a half a year world tour before they fought.
Yeah.
And he was already he said before, like, I don't want to do this media stuff.
I think it's like what I said.
On these press conferences all the time.
I think the story's been told, and at the same time, if you follow Conor McGregor on social media, he's supposedly been training this whole time. It's not like he was taking a day off.
Yeah.
He was posting picture after picture of him in the gym and putting in work. So it's not like he wasn't training this whole time. And we heard rumors. How many rumors we heard that he was supposed to be the late replacement for so-and-so's fight and so-and-so's fight. And with that said, I think the story told the main reason the story told itself.
Yeah.
Just look at the trailer. It says why they don't need to do a world tour.
Yeah. Also kind of weird, the projected matchup here. I mean, the card here. You also have Sergio Pettis on this card. But that's kind of weird. I thought the Pettis brothers didn't want to fight on the same card anymore because, like, if...
Yeah, it makes one nervous.
Usually Sergio fights before Anthony, so if he gets knocked out, it's kind of traumatizing to see his brother get knocked out. But interesting to see here. It could potentially be a big night for Anthony Pettis. So it's UFC 229. Takes place October 6th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, in the Las Vegas metropolitan area, exactly. So, probably the biggest card of the year because Conor McGregor is back. What about the rumors that Khabib's camp said he's taking this fight because he's broke? Because Conor's broke.
No, I don't think Conor's broke. I think the funds are low. Yeah. I don't think they're at where Conor
wants to replenish the funds.
Yeah, he just replenished. I mean, he just bought a whiskey distillery supposedly. At least that's what he made it perceived as. Yeah. But I don't think he busts an MC Hammer. Keep in mind, I think MC Hammer blew like $20 million. Yeah. Conor McGregor has a lot of millions to play with.
You gotta be like Shaq and invest in Five Guys.
That was a smart move. Or like Magic Johnson, get your Starbucks going.
Get that on there. That's it for round number one. We got round number two coming up next. Welcome everyone. Time for round number two. So I have a theory here that the UFC just wants to abolish their forgive me for their heavier women's divisions. They're more likely their UFC bantamweight and the UFC featherweight divisions. The featherweight division is not even a division; it's just Cyborg holding the belt. And then in the post-Rousey era, I don't think the UFC has really been, or Dana White has really gravitated towards the women's bantamweight division. Is that just me, or do you kind of feel that?
Yeah.
Has he gotten behind Amanda Nunes?
No, I honestly think it's all been the strawweight.
Yeah.
I think Joanna has been carrying the torch for, ever since Ronda has left. Mm-hmm. I think she's been the go-to girl. And now it's Rose Namajunas' division in the UFC that the women, as far as representing the women.
Yeah.
I think it's because, and I'm trying to say it the best way. Amanda and Chris Cyborg are not marketable for the UFC, for the way UFC markets,
for the Bud Light commercials.
So
right?
let's break it down. Both of them their English isn't that good. So that hurts them already. We already seen plenty of time. The ones that can speak better English are the ones that get the bigger sponsors. There's a certain poster appeal.
Perfect. Perfect phrase.
And the only reason and keep in mind, Anthony Pettis got that Wheaties thing like that. You know why? The guy looks good in a poster.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse doesn't look so good in a poster, so that's why he didn't probably
shape of the head. I think. It's 2 rounds.
Yeah.
It's 2 rounds.
And that's why I think Anthony Pettis right away was able to capitalize when he became champion. While these other two, just like several other guys in the poster, not necessarily that friendly, but. I think the biggest thing is they don't speak English. They're not charismatic. As much as Chris Cyborg plays the intimidation game, I don't really see.
Goofy, right?
Yeah, I don't really see like an entertaining personality.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
I'm sure her smack talk is better in Portuguese, but I mean, the poor translation doesn't really come across.
I'll give John Bone Jones this. The guy gets under my skin. And that's enough to put himself over.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes don't do much. Just because, she gets this cool makeup, I don't think that's enough. And just because Amanda puts on a lion mask, that's not enough.
Yeah.
You need a little bit. You need a little bit more sauce to really bring in the mass people to gravitate towards you.
So the reason why we're bringing this up is because it has been reported by many outlets, MMA Junkie one of them, is that Cyborg versus Amanda Nunes, champion versus champion, will be take place at UFC 232, and I think in December. I just basically say, you know what? There's nobody left for Cyborg to fight. Amanda Nunes, there's nobody else in the bantamweight division to fight.
There is no division for Chris Cyborg to fight.
Yeah.
There's literally girls that just move up and then go back down to their weight class.
I literally think, you know what? Let's just kill both of this division off. If Nunes wins, she's not going to be a double champion. We'll ride off the featherweight division. If Cyborg wins, our bantamweight champion is quote-unquote garbage. We're right off that division. Let's focus on 125. Let's focus on 115. Let's focus on 105 in the very near future for the UFC women's, because marketability, poster appeal. I mean, they just announced this week that was it Paige Van Sant and Rachel Ostovich are going to main event the first UFC on ESPN card.
Yeah.
115 pounds or 125 pounds. Those are 2 heavy hitters in the poster business and Instagram likes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of likes between both those women. So I mean, the divisions there, whether or not they're going to admit it, they're not going to admit it at all. And obviously, people need to remember that the UFC is not owned by an athletic corporation. They're owned by a talent agency, right?
Yes.
So obviously, they're going to see the benefit of poster appeal.
For crying out loud, Sage Northcutt isn't on paper. Doesn't reflect his popularity.
Yeah.
At least on paper. If you go look up his wins and losses, they do not match up to how many times I've seen him on TV, how many times I've seen him in a social media presence, and that shows you he's a marketable guy.
And it's a shame too, because Cyborg is the best women's fighter of all time. The UFC has not marketed her at all.
No.
I mean, granted, they haven't brought in. Bellator has a better featherweight division than UFC does, and anybody who disargues that is not an MMA fan.
And here's the thing too. I think Anderson Silva was never marketed at all, but because he has such these ridiculous finishes that you could only dream of or see in some kind of animation.
Yeah.
That's all he needed.
Yeah,
and even though Chris Cyborg does have finishes, there are no Anderson Silva finishes.
Yeah, and then Nunes, what do you guys like or not? She's still in the shadow of Ronda Rousey. I mean, Ronda Rousey wins a fake women's title on WWE, and
it makes more splash.
It makes headlines everywhere, and that's because she's still this big figure. It won't be until another All-American girl wins that title where it'll become relevant again. And unfortunately, that's just the way that's the world we live in. That's the way the UFC wants to play it. That's the way WMNG wants to play it. And if you guys don't believe it, then you're just ignorant.
Yeah.
You don't want to believe it. So that's how it goes. That's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and switch gears and talk about, I meant to say fake, but and we posted Ronda Rousey winning the WWE Women's title on Raw. We asked the question: should her performances on Monday Night Raw be reported on MMA and Sports website? And a lot of people said no. No, don't report it. It's not.
I say 100% yes.
So we'll get to that in the next round, so do not go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. We're going to switch gears and talk about professional wrestling. Even though I called it fake the last round, you have to forgive me here, but I am a big mark, right, Albert?
Super mark.
When I mean fake,
No, what do they call it?
Predetermined.
I think we're smarks.
Smarks, yeah,
right?
smarks.
Is that the correct term?
Yeah, I like that. SummerSlam. So SummerSlam took place a couple weeks ago. We're a little behind the 8 ball here, but an overall rating. Let's do the Meltzer calculation of the overall event.
Yeah.
How many stars out of 5 would you give SummerSlam 2018?
No lie, it deserves 5 stars, but I can't give it 5 stars
Okay.
because I was like pretty much by the time we got to the end, I was done.
Yeah.
So with that, I'm gonna have to give it 3.5.
Is it too long? It's too
3.5.
long,
It's just too long. I give it 3.5 stars. I thought Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler were probably the highlight of SummerSlam. I think the AJ Samoa Joe was solid, but it could have been better. I know those two guys have more to give than what they showed. Same thing with the Jeff Hardy Nakamura. I thought they had some good spots, but they can also show more than what they did. And the final thing, I don't care about all you wrestling supposedly quote experts out there who loved that Roman Reigns won it and loved that Braun Strowman came out and mixed it up. That shit was stupid.
Yeah.
That was a stupid match. And with that said, I have to give like 3.5 overall. I got and the Bulgin brothers got.
He's hurt now.
This is the frustrating part. I watched NXT before I watched SummerSlam, right? I saw that tag team match in NXT, blew me out of the way, and then I had to go and sit through the Bulgin brothers or Bludgeon Brothers versus New Day. Come on, man! I just saw one of the greatest tag team matches ever, and I got to watch that.
Yeah,
come on now.
I think there's 2 ways to watch professional wrestling, and unfortunately a lot of them are mixing. There's literally pure entertainment, like you said.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it, pure entertainment, but it's too long, right? Like a long movie, right? Kind of like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Maybe a half an hour too long, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a critical side where you read everything happens in the dirt sheets, you read the booking plans of the WWE, and then you kind of grade on that. Well, they should have booked it this way. That one should have won because in the future like that. But as far as like put your smart mark hat on, and as a booker, how would you rate this? Like, are you okay with Samoa Joe losing? Are you okay with Seth Rollins? Decisions they make for story, like that's because, like, obviously that's what.
Yeah, this is what actually surprised you. I think they did the right move for every match as far as continuing on.
Yeah.
The only one that I did not agree was the Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman. KO jobbed to Braun Strowman. Keep in mind.
Killing that character.
When Finn Balor got hurt, you know who carried the Universal title?
Are you defending KO right now?
Believe it or not. But this is the part that makes me mad. You can't make a guy be the Universal Champion, and he was even champion for a long time, carried the company, and then he gets buried because you want to show off your new shiny toy. Like, there was other ways to book that match where I think Kevin Owens didn't look as weak.
Yeah.
And this is... I don't like Kevin Owens. Never have, never will.
A Kevin Steen fan?
I am not a Kevin Steen fan. I'll be the last guy lining up for his autograph. I'll tell you that.
If ever.
If I even line up. But with that said, though, it just frustrates me that you weaken the title because he had one of the longest reigns up there, right? He was technically, even though Finn Balor was the first, let's keep it real, Kevin Owens was the first Universal Champion, and then he jobs to Strowman, who's already over. Like, why does he have to job to Strowman? Strowman's already over.
Yeah, I feel like even with
we already know he's a monster. We already know that he was someone needs to catch these hands.
I feel like even with Strowman, like they should pull the trigger on this guy. Like, what are they gonna do with him? Like every time you think they could push him to the next level, they don't do it. Like, it should have been him who defeated Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but it wasn't. And like all these opportunities they have to make him like what they're to try and do with him is make him this undefeatable babyface. But they never do it. They have him win the greatest Royal Rumble ever. It doesn't mean anything now. And he just kind of goes on and like just look. To me, he looks like a fool now. I see Braun and I kind of laugh. I'm not like, oh, this guy's so strong. I see it and I just laugh because everything how they handle this big guy is a joke to me now. Like his strength is almost like comical. Like he's pushing over diesel trucks and busting out ambulances. It's almost comical now.
Yeah.
Where he can't even win a wrestling match, or he can't even win a title. Like he can do all this stuff, he can't win a title. What's the point of it? So I don't know. And it's not even like he's like under the Giant, this mythical figure who's like unbeatable. They're just like poorly booking him and just like I don't like it. Whatever. I don't know.
And then here's the real sad part. And I mean, no disrespect to Big Show, but he's the next Big Show.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a solid 2-year run.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna find himself in mid card doing some wacky sumo wrestling gimmicks in WrestleMania.
You think the Miz going over Daniel Bryan was him because he didn't sign the contract yet?
Well, that's Guillermo calling in.
Let me get him. Let's get
But let me finish my thing. I honestly think
like
they want to continue that Miz Daniel Bryan thing, and from the rumors is Daniel Bryan did sign. So it's all who you believe. Guillermo's calling in right now. If you hear the phone ring.
Guillermo Cito, you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Sir, give us your 5-star rating of SummerSlam.
I didn't watch because I don't care. And what a fluke to have Ronda Rousey win anyway.
Oh, even talking about that. We didn't even talk about Ronda Rousey winning.
I was like, so, I mean, wasn't that the headliner?
Yeah, that was the headliner.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, what a joke. If you want to talk about wolf tickets, that's wolf tickets right there.
What about Roman Reigns? Okay, we're gonna spend more time on that because we're always doing W. So what about the whole story arc of Roman Reigns finally beating Brock Lesnar that nobody kind of really cares about? And I'm a Roman Reigns fan. He's the big dog. He's not as bad as everybody says he is. He could probably change up his attire and maybe cut a little bit better promo if they let him loose.
Or maybe do more than 4 moves.
Well, I mean, yeah, but this is
maybe a drop kick. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Guillermo? Or is it also
a running bulldog? Is it really that hard to do the running bulldog?
Does it also hurt that like all this news of Brock Lesnar leaving is being leaked before the event, so all the anticipation surprises is gone out the window before the event even starts?
Well, and that's part of the problem. I think this whole stretch that Roman Reigns couldn't beat Brock Lesnar, and he's finally gonna get over the hump, right? And then all of a sudden, hey, he's gonna go to the UFC. So for like me that kind of follows both, it's horrible. I mean, like it's not legitimate. I want to see Brock at his best. And that finally Roman Reigns was able to beat the unstoppable mountain that he could never climb, or something like that to that effect. But it doesn't. I don't get that feeling.
Yeah, this is kind of a hot air. What about the Miz beating Daniel Bryan? You like that? I'm sure you like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
It was by DQ, though. Can you let him know it was by DQ?
Was it by DQ?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was small.
Well, no, not by DQ. Sorry, he cheated to win.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. My apologies. He got some kind of object and hit Daniel Bryan, then pinned him.
But this is the problem with Albert. I mean, like, if you're talking about wrestling, so apples to apples, right?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is so much better wrestling-wise,
Thank
right?
you. That's all I wanted you to say.
But what can Miz bring to the table to at least make it worthwhile? And that's the personality of the Miz. And how can he beat Daniel Bryan without the wrestling? It's cheating. So I mean, like I like it.
It makes sense. I'll give you that.
Thank you. It makes sense. And the other thing too is I don't care
Miz
what
is trash.
says.
Let's not forget that either.
Well, let's keep it real. I mean, the Miz has been consistent on TV.
Yeah, when all you do is throw punches and do a figure 4,
it doesn't matter.
You can have a healthy career.
Well, as long as you have a career, I mean, that's all that matters. That's why the Miz is in the position that he's in. It's not necessarily he's the best wrestler. He's learned how to talk better on the mic, and he's been consistently there.
Look, I compare the Miz to a lot of people that are successful in life. They do not care to make themselves look stupid. They're those guys out there that they don't care that they look like a brown noser, like a dumb idiot with the mic. He has no self-respect. He thinks he's funny and he's not. And let's keep it real. We know thousands of people like that they're in a position that shouldn't be there just because they're not scared to make themselves look stupid.
And that's the dumbest thing you've ever said, because Daniel Bryan's success has been totally the opposite of that.
No, man.
It's been hard work.
That's called talent.
After hard work after hard work.
And that's why you respect those people more.
No, and so the Miz is hard work after hard work after
hard work? throw a couple of punches, and then they'll figure 4.
So you think it's easy to public speak?
It's not easy to make yourself look stupid. I'll give him credit for that.
Is it easy to sham somebody or talk back to somebody without a script? Look at what happens with Roman Reigns on the mic.
And yet he's still the top dog.
Anyways, we'll see how it goes. I mean, Gary, I'm going to hear you. We're going to take a small break and come back and enter the championship round, so do not go anywhere. Welcome, everyone. Let's enter the championship round. Let's get some heavy-hitting hearsay. Well, not really hearsay. We have quotes from both men, but kind of take your stance almost. Are you on Team Diaz or are you on Team Bruce Buffer? So Bruce Buffer was kind of, I guess he was stopped by TMZ. He's just grocery shop or something. I don't know where he was. And they asked him about, I forget what they asked him about Nate Diaz, something like that. And then Bruce Buffer said that, quote, I love Nate, but he's always got a bad taste in his mouth. Nate, I heard you made $7 million or more in your last fight. I don't want to hear you complaining about being underpromoted by the UFC. You should be thanking UFC and bowing to Dana White every time you see him. End quote. So, well, he says more, but, I mean, he's all, Nate, please, I don't want to hear any more, yada, 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 to which I think Nate Diaz responded by, I don't bow to nobody, quote, unquote. I'm paraphrasing, but that kind of sounds like something he'd say, right? Mm-hmm. He responded back by saying, I'm not bowing down to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I'm always a pro fighter, pro wrestler guy. I think the promoters get in the way. Pro boxer guy. I mean, come on. Is Don King the real good guy here, or is it Mike Tyson? You know what I mean? Come on now. How many times have we heard promoters just like robbing all these athletes here? Gamma, what do you think about Bruce Buffer telling Nate Diaz to bow down to Dana White every time he sees him?
It's a freaking business. I mean, he needs to bow down. If not, go find somewhere else. Try to get that $7 million from Bellator. I mean,
well, $700,000.
Or whatever he got from the UFC, try to get that from Bellator. There's a reason why the people that are in the UFC, I mean, it's a platform for them. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle because at the same time, you know, these guys put their lives on the line every single time. So at the same time, you know, I respect that, you know, and get as much as you can when you can, right? So yeah. I'm all for that. But at the same time, without this platform, without the UFC, these guys would be in Stockton still. So you also have to look at that.
Well, they're still in Stockton.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
they have the strong option to leave.
Hey, Alec, I've been to downtown Stockton. It's not the nicest place in the world. I bet you they're not in downtown Stockton. And if they are, it's like skyscrapers above everybody else.
They're living large in Stockton. What do you think?
It might surprise people that listen to the show, but I agree with Diaz. I think Bruce Buzz, everyone's allowed their opinion, right? But doesn't mean you have to grovel at the feet of the hand that feeds you. I mean, screw that. Why does he have to bow down? He makes money for UFC and vice versa. It's a two-way street. No one has to bow. And the same thing, too. Dana White doesn't have to bow down to Diaz either. He should, if he doesn't want to fight, don't fight then.
Yeah.
As simple as that. But I agree with him. Bow down to who? For what?
So
Diaz made Diaz.
Yeah.
Dana White didn't make Diaz.
So here's Nate Diaz's response via Twitter. Bruce Buffer, WTF, get off the UFC's nut. You're bowing down right now, telling me to bow down. F that, you keep bowing down. I bow down to no one ever for all the money in the world. In the letter N, the world, ...
And there's nothing wrong with that. With both punctuation and him saying that.
Yeah, I mean, didn't well, obviously Bruce Buffer is probably untouchable in the UFC. You could probably say that, but do you think? I mean,
he's a company man.
Yeah.
But didn't Bruce Buffer have beef with Dana White anyway in the past?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I think the only thing I've ever heard was when he came out in that article that he was like a playboy and blah blah blah, and they asked Dana White. Dana White kind of laughed and said, "Yeah, sure. I mean, if that's why he wants to portray himself, then that's how he likes to portray himself." But other than that, I never really heard any real beef.
Even that too. I mean, it's almost like him and Buffer and Joe Rogan kind of off limits, right? Remember when Colby Covington called out Joe Rogan? It was like such a big deal. Like nobody ever calls out Joe Rogan in the fight world ever. He's untouchable. It's kind of like the more, like you said, Gamble, the more the business side of this comes out, it seems the uglier it seems to get, right?
Oh, of course. But I mean, like you said, I mean, these guys are untouchable, so they can say whatever they want, and you know, there's no repercussions, right?
Yeah.
Because what if Nate Diaz calls out, "Oh, well, I want Joe Rogan in a UFC bout. You know.
I feel like it's kind of the equivalent. But like, what if Joe Buck were to tell like, so and so football player needs to bow down to Jerry Jones because he pays him that money. It's kind of like
it's the same thing.
It's almost the same thing, isn't it?
It's like, why do you have to bow down to Jerry
To be
Jones?
honest with you guys, have you guys heard the criticism from all these analysts? I mean, like it's the UFC fighters have to take some criticism as well. I mean, like they're dissecting every movement, everything that they say because they're such a public figure. I mean, it happens in all the sports. So, I mean, like, they need to control sometimes some of the platform. Like, TMZ is not the best way to say, hey, Nate Diaz, start accepting these fights. That's what he's telling them, bow down.
Yeah.
Stop complaining about these money fights when you do get money fights. That's basically what he said, you know?
Very true. That's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming. Before we do that, I want to give a big shout out to our partners, FightBookMMA.com, the only place you'll find real combat sports news from all over the world. A website you can trust with Aki news from MMA, kickboxing, boxing, all the local promotions, major ones, UFC. They cover all of its combat sports related. And you give them the right info, they're going to post it on there. It's going to be right, accurate the first time. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram and Twitter. Just bookmark it. They have a great section of combat sports podcasts as well. It's FightBookMMA.com. Our good friends. Big shout out to Mobilitas Mobility Tools. The best mobility tools on the planet. Durable, portable, manufacturer release products designed with more grip to better restore your muscles to original health. Use promo code FiveRoundMMA for 20% off your order. They have foam rollers, those little, little tennis balls for your back, peanuts for your, just getting those muscles, getting those deep muscles, Albert, so you can get back on the tennis court like how you used to be when you're 18 years old.
That's what I'm going to do.
And also a big shout out to Dioxyme supplements, and a big shout out to the Adult Leprechauns podcast. And if you're interested in being a sponsor of FiveRoundMMA, shoot us a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or send us an email at FiveRoundMMA@gmail.com. That's FIVERoundMMA@gmail.com. Fifth and final round coming up next. Welcome back. Fifth and final round. Guillermo Cita on September 1st at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois. Arguably the biggest professional wrestling event this year will take place all in Guillermo Cita in a professional wrestling event run, promoted by the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes, completely free of any other major promotion like TNA and or the big dog in the house, WWE. This card will be main evented by Nick Aldis, formerly Magnus in TNA, who's a current NWA heavyweight champion, will take on Cody Rhodes. Marty Scurll will take on Okada. Rey Mysterio and Phoenix are on this card against the Golden Elite. Matt Jackson and Kota Ibushi. Christopher Daniels is on this card. The Briscoe brothers. Kenny Omega versus Pentagon
Junior.
Or Pentagon Settle Metal or Junior, whatever he is. Jay Lethal, Madison Rayne on this card. Guillermo Cita, will you be watching All In?
Hell no! What a waste of time.
I didn't hear the answer already.
If I would just change the channel when Cody Rhodes was on SmackDown and Raw, when I think that I'm going to tune in for the main event of this card. I mean, I love, and believe me, I love Cody Rhodes. But I mean, if that's your main event, I mean, it's a hard sell, you know. Especially it's on a Saturday, right?
Yes, it's Saturday. September 1st.
Yeah, I got better things to do. I just tune into the YouTube highlight reels or people on Instagram just posting little highlights and stuff like that. That's good enough for me.
Wow. 10,000 tickets sold out in less than 30 minutes.
And and apparently that's a big deal. Just so you guys know, so NXT I think sold like 14,000 for their event, and I think SummerSlam was like 16,000. So this is not that far off for an event. That's what Guillermo doesn't understand, that this is actually a pretty big deal, and it is gonna turn heads when this event takes place. And again, this I know Guillermo ain't really a wrestling fan. I mean, I am daydreaming about this event. Sadly, we have to attend Cal State Northridge function at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah, we do.
So we're going to have to catch the replay, which we will catch the replay. But with that said, though, how do you not get hyped up for this event? Just the backstory alone, Guillermo. The fact that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, who have been
laughing in the face of Vince McMahon,
were able to put this together, sell it out within minutes. Was it like 30 minutes it took for it to sell out?
Yes.
and put up this wonderful card, get sponsors. They're going to be on national television showing 2 matches and then kicking off into a pay-per-view. Just that alone, it makes me happy that I can have another flavor other than sticking to WWE.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
This is what bothers me, though. I mean, like, this is coming from the same guy that said just PWG or stay in the Inland Empire. This is the same guy that would complain about Cody Rhodes can't even talk on the mic, and now you're all excited for these guys. It's like
it's because they let Cody Rhodes loose.
Well, no, dude. Even when they left him loose, he was going nowhere, dude. I mean, the point is, I see your excitement. You're excited that these guys can do it without the machine, and you're all for the underdog. And I get that, and that's great to cheer on. But let's keep it real. I mean, like, are these guys main eventers anywhere else? No.
Dude, Kenny Omega. Okada, of course.
Not even main eventing.
Kenny Omega, Guillermo, is the hottest thing out there. Again, you missed my talk about stock.
Point out that Nick Aldis did a main event championship wrestling from Hollywood. So.
Oh wow! But anyways, Kenny Omega is so hot right now. Guillermo. If that stock right now is probably the biggest stock you can purchase.
Buy.
Yeah,
now.
If you see Kenny Omega stock available, you purchase that. He is so. If he were to transfer over to WWE, mark my words, Guillermo, he will be bigger than Daniel Bryan. He'll be bigger than John Cena. If Kenny Omega makes a transfer and is able to showcase the way he is, the guy has charisma, has a character, and he can wrestle.
The thing is, Albert, you said the same thing about Finn Balor. Where is he at?
He's in the top of the card. He got hurt. He was the first Universal Champion, and an injury stopped his push. Let's keep it real.
He's supposed to be a lot bigger than he is right now, right?
Yeah. But come on, the injury. No one saw the injury coming.
Yeah.
Gotta give him that, Guillermo. That's the injury.
Where's Seth Rollins at? Where's Daniel Bryan?
In the top of the card. On top of the card.
But they're all below the big dog, right, Guillermo?
Exactly. They're under the big dog. They're under John Cena. They're under Roman Reigns. They're under Brock Lesnar. So, I mean, they're under, what's his name, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I mean, Albert, whatever you say, Kenny Omega might be the biggest thing in Indy, but
hottest
bring
thing.
him to the machine.
Say it right. He's the hottest thing out there.
He might end up as your Finn Balor, your Daniel Bryan's, your Samoa Joe's. I mean, top of the card.
I have never said Samoa Joe was the top headliner. I never in my life. Never in my life have I said Samoa Joe was. Yeah, that's a misquote. Just for people out there to know, I have never in my life wanted to see Samoa Joe, nor said he was a top headliner.
Real quick, Cody Rhodes wins the NWA title, right? Cody Rhodes?
Oh,
he has to. His dad won.
Yeah. He has to win the NWA title.
Good.
But the spoiler alert, spoiler alert, guys. Supposedly Neville is going to come out in that Battle Royale, win it, and then face Jay Lethal for the ROH belt, and I think he's going to win.
Spoiler alert. That's it for this week's show. Good to be back, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for calling in. Make sure you're up to date with 5RoundMMA. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 5RoundMMA. It's FIVE-RoundMMA. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, and YouTube. Visit 5RoundMMA.com. A big thank you to everyone listening, all of our sponsors. Albert, what do you got?
Just watch some MLS, people. I need LAFC to be so hot right now. Playoffs are around the corner. Let's get hyped.
Oh, yeah, the cream of the crop.
Thanks for tuning in